good to have you back. Today I've got two of the most haunting Reddit threads I could find. Like, subscribe, and let's dive in. I, 35 male, have been getting anonymous gifts that describe the inside of my house, and the last one was taken from inside my closet. This one sat with me for a while. So I have no idea where to start with this, but I need to get it out somewhere because I am losing my mind. I am a 35-year-old museum curator, and I live in a shared house with my younger sister, Margot. A few weeks ago, I enrolled in an evening art restoration course downtown. The instructor, Callum, seemed great, genuinely passionate, small class, good energy. I was excited about it. Then the parcels started showing up. No return address, no postmark I could trace, just left on the front step like someone walked up, set them down, and vanished. The first one was a tin of Fortnum & Mason Royal Blend, the exact brand sitting on our kitchen shelf. I figured it was a coincidence, maybe a neighbor being friendly. The second was a small card that read, "You should fix the crack in your hallway mirror before it spreads." I stopped smiling after that one. The third referenced the color of the towels in our upstairs bathroom, sage green. I asked Margot point blank if she had mentioned any of this to anyone. She swore she had not. I started checking the windows every night, asked the neighbors if they had seen anyone unfamiliar near the house. Nobody had noticed a thing. Then the fifth parcel came. It was a padded envelope, light, with something stiff inside. I opened it at the kitchen table while Margot watched. Inside was a single Polaroid. It showed my bedroom, my bed, my nightstand, the jacket I had left draped over the chair. But the angle was wrong. It was taken from low, looking slightly upward, framed by the edges of hanging clothes. Whoever took this photo was crouching inside my closet. The white border had a timestamp. It matched the exact evening I was sitting in Callum's class 2 nights earlier. Someone was in my house, in my room, in my closet, while I was gone. I have not slept properly since. I keep opening the closet door and just staring into it. I do not know what I am asking for exactly. Advice, similar experiences, anything. I just need someone to tell me I am not overreacting. He was not overreacting. The Polaroid changed everything. After I posted here, Margot and I tore the house apart. Every closet, the basement storage, the attic crawl space, we checked it all with a kitchen knife in my hand and Margot holding her phone ready to dial. Nothing. No sign anyone had been there. No scuff marks, no displaced boxes, nothing missing. That almost made it worse. Whoever did this was careful enough to leave no trace except the one they wanted me to find. I started making a mental list of anyone who had ever been inside the house. Delivery drivers, the plumber from last autumn, a couple of Margot's friends. Then my mind went to the evening class. There is a guy named Derek who sits 2 rows behind me. Quiet, keeps to himself mostly. But early on, he mentioned he lives somewhere in my area, and once he asked which bus I took home. Casually, the way you might ask anyone, but it stuck with me. He also asked once if the houses on my street had gardens or just front steps. I remember thinking it was an odd question. Then there is Callum, the instructor. He has been nothing but warm since day one. Always picks my work to demonstrate a technique, always offers a few extra minutes of feedback after class. I took it as mentorship. The guy clearly loves teaching, and I figured he saw I was serious about it. But then Margot mentioned something I did not know. She said Callum had actually been inside our house. A few weeks back, he helped her carry groceries from the corner shop, and she invited him in for coffee as a thank you. She said he was polite, stayed maybe 20 minutes, used the downstairs bathroom. I did not know any of this had happened. I kept coming back to Derek as the obvious suspect, but the Callum detail sat in the back of my head like a low hum. I bought a cheap motion camera off the internet and set it up near the front door. Went around the house checking every window latch. That is when I noticed the basement vent window. Margot keeps it cracked for airflow because the basement gets damp. I pushed it from the outside and it swung open without resistance. The latch does not catch properly from out there. I shut it and locked it as best I could. At the time, I did not think much of it. Now, I just wait, and every creak in this house sounds deliberate. The list was getting shorter, and the wrong name was at the top. He was looking at the wrong person. I pulled Derek aside after class on Thursday. Kept it casual, told him I had been getting strange packages at the house, and asked if he had noticed anyone hanging around the building after sessions. He looked at me like I had just told him someone died, genuinely confused. He said no, asked if I was all right, and then offered to walk me to my car. The whole exchange felt wrong for someone with something to hide. He was too open, too concerned. I thanked him and drove home feeling less certain about everything. That night, Margot asked if I had ever checked the shared laptop we keep in the living room. We barely use it, mostly for streaming and the odd recipe lookup. It has a guest browser profile that neither of us ever touches. I opened it and clicked into the guest bookmarks folder, expecting nothing. There were hundreds of entries. Screenshots from the museum's public event page. My staff biography photo saved multiple times. Images that were clearly taken through the glass lobby at work. Me sitting at my desk. Me talking to a colleague by the front display. Me locking up one evening. The angles were from outside, shot through the windows, but close enough that whoever took them had been standing right there on the pavement. I started checking the dates. The oldest bookmark was from 5 months before I ever signed up for the course. 5 months. This was not about the class. This was not about Derek or some stranger who spotted me at an evening session. Whoever was doing this had been watching me at work long before I ever picked up a palette knife. They had walked into my house, sat at my laptop, and bookmarked their own surveillance photos like a filing system. Margot was standing behind me reading over my shoulder, and neither of us said a word for what felt like a full minute. I am going to the police first thing in the morning. I have already taken screenshots of every single bookmark. Sleepless Wren. The Polaroid from inside the closet genuinely made my stomach drop. That means he was in there while your stuff was right next to him. That is a level of entitlement that terrifies me. Fence post. Brother, I would not have even noticed saved bookmarks on a guest profile. How long would this have gone on if you had not checked? Deleted my main account. The fact that the journal started 5 months before you enrolled means he engineered the whole relationship. You were never a student to him. You were a project. That is what I keep circling back to. I remember him recommending the course to a colleague at the museum during an open evening, and I overheard it and thought it sounded interesting. I thought it was my idea. I have gone over that night 100 times now, and I am almost certain he said it loud enough for me to hear on purpose. I cannot prove that, but the journal dates do not lie. A few days later, Nolan came back with an update. They found his journal, and it started before I ever signed up. I need to get this down while it is still fresh. I took the laptop to the police the morning after my last post. They pulled the browser forensics on the guest profile and traced every session back to a single device fingerprint. It had only ever been accessed by one person outside our household, Callum. The one time Margot invited him in for coffee after he helped with her groceries. That was enough. 20 minutes in our house and he had a full layout in his head and unrestricted access to the laptop. The detective told me they searched his teaching desk at the college that same afternoon. Inside a locked drawer, they found a leather-bound journal. I have seen photocopies of some of the pages now. They are meticulous. Room dimensions, furniture placement, which windows have working locks, which do not. He drew a floor plan of the upstairs from memory. He noted the brand of tea on the kitchen shelf. He noted the crack in the hallway mirror. He noted the color of our bathroom towels. The earliest dated entry was from 5 months before I ever enrolled in the course. 5 months. I thought I chose that class. I thought I saw a flyer at the museum, got curious, signed myself up. But he was already watching me, already photographing me through the lobby glass, already building his file. Every warm comment he gave me about my brushwork, every time he stayed late to help me with a technique, none of it was real. It was engineered. The class was not something I found. It was something he built around me. I keep replaying every interaction, and it all looks different now. The encouragement, the mentorship, the way he made me feel like I had a talent worth developing. All of it was designed to keep me coming back so he could keep his schedule predictable. Mikio, please tell me you got Margot out of there too. If he came in through a window she left open, he clearly knew her routine as well. Radish Tornado, Has anyone checked whether Callum did this to previous students? People like this do not start at this level. There is a history somewhere. Mikio. This is exactly what I was thinking. The journal was too organized, too practiced. Someone does not develop that system overnight. I really hope the detective is pulling records from the college. It ended where it started, inside the house. Police matched Callum's fingerprints to the Polaroid. They arrested him at the college on a Wednesday afternoon, mid-lecture, in front of his students. I was not there for it, but the detective called me within the hour. Margot and I changed every lock in the house that same week. We had a contractor come out and permanently seal the basement vent window, the one Margot always left cracked for airflow, the one with the latch that never caught from the outside. That was how he had been getting in. Not the front door, not a picked lock. Just a window we never thought to worry about. I withdrew from the course, could not set foot in that building again. The weeks after were quiet in a way that felt heavy rather than peaceful. I would come home from the museum and just stand in the hallway for a moment before moving through the house, checking rooms not because I thought anyone was there, but because the habit had burrowed into me. Margot started locking her bedroom door at night, something she had never done before. We did not talk about it much. There was not a lot to say that the silence did not already cover. Then, about 3 weeks after the arrest, the detective returned photocopies of the journal pages they no longer needed for evidence. I had seen most of them before, the floor plans, the window measurements, the inventory of our belongings. But tucked near the back was a page I had not been shown. It was a pencil sketch, detailed, careful, almost beautiful if you did not know what it was. It showed the view from my bedroom window, the rooftops, the tree line, the church steeple 2 streets over, drawn from the inside. The date written in the corner was the morning after I first enrolled in the course. He had been in my house that very night. The night I came home excited about a new chapter in my life, he was already inside it. I do not know how to end this. I am safe now. Margot is safe. But I still open the closet door slowly, every single time. Not a burner, I swear. I am stuck on the guest profile detail. He used your own laptop to catalog you. That is so calm and methodical it makes my skin crawl. On to the next one. I, 34 male, found my housemate's phone after he disappeared to a wellness retreat, and the Discord messages made me physically ill. 3 guys, 1 house, and a phone that should have left with its owner. So I need to get this down while it is still fresh because I do not know where else to put it. My name is Megan. Yeah, I know, a guy named Megan. I have heard every joke. I am 34. I sell real estate for a living, and I share a house with 2 other guys. Tyler, 22 male, moved in about 10 months ago. Quiet kid, worked part-time at a plant nursery, kept to himself but was always decent company at dinner. Derek, 29 male, has been here almost as long as me. 3 years, give or take. We are not best friends, but we function. Dishes get done eventually, someone remembers to buy toilet paper, rent gets split on time. Normal house stuff. About 5 or 6 weeks ago, Tyler started getting weird. Not dramatic weird, just off. He stopped showing up for group dinners. He was always on his phone, but the screen was angled away like he was guarding it. His sleep schedule flipped. I would hear him up at 3 in the morning, then he would sleep through the afternoon. I asked if everything was cool a couple of times, and he just said he was going through some stuff and figuring things out. I left it alone. I wish I had not. Last Tuesday, I woke up around 7 and the house felt wrong. Too quiet. Tyler's door was open. His bed was stripped bare, closet half empty. No note, no text, nothing. Just gone. But his phone was sitting right there on the kitchen counter. Unlocked. I picked it up thinking he forgot it in a rush. I opened Discord and there it was, a server called the Still Room. It looked harmless at first. Channels named things like Breathing Room, Check-in Circle, Quiet Hours. Soft pastel icons. Felt like one of those peer mental health communities. Then I found a channel called Graduated. It was a list. Over 20 usernames, each one paired with a date. I scrolled through the other channels and searched those names. Not a single one of them ever posted anything after the date next to their name. Tyler's username was the last entry on the list. dated 2 days ago. I screenshotted everything I could before the screen timed out. My hands were shaking so bad half of them came out blurry. None of those usernames ever came back. The phone was still unlocked. Megan did not sleep for 2 days. I spent the next 48 hours going through every corner of that Discord server. I barely ate. I kept Tyler's phone plugged in on the kitchen table and just read. The still room was built like a funnel. New members landed in the soft channels, breathing room, check-in circle, where everyone was warm and validating. Every message was affirmations and gentle questions. How are you feeling today? You are safe here. This is a judgment-free space. It felt like a hug from a stranger who already knew your name. After a few weeks of that, members got invited to something called Inner Garden, private tier, fewer people. That is where an admin who went by Warden assigned each person a shepherd, a one-on-one mentor. Tyler's shepherd had a username I am not going to share yet for reasons that will make sense later, but I read every single DM between them, hundreds of messages over 6 weeks. The shepherd started soft, asking about Tyler's day, his anxiety, his family. Then it shifted, slowly. Tyler mentioned calling his sister Brooke, and the shepherd said, "Sometimes the people closest to us are the ones holding us back the most." Tyler talked about hanging out with me and Derek, and the shepherd said, "Do your housemates actually see you, or do they just see a body that pays rent?" Tyler mentioned he had been thinking about going back to therapy, and the shepherd called it system noise, said real healing does not come from someone billing your insurance. Every thread led to the same place. Pull away from everyone, trust only the server. Then came the retreat instructions. Leave all electronics behind. Pack only essentials. A GPS pin would arrive the morning of departure. Do not tell anyone where you are going. I called Brooke that night. She said Tyler had not returned her calls in 3 weeks and she was starting to worry. I told her about the phone, but I kept the graduated list to myself. I did not want to say that word out loud yet. The next morning I filed a missing persons report. The officer was polite, took notes, said they would look into it. That was it. No urgency. No follow-up call. I sat in the kitchen that night staring at Tyler's phone on the table, and it hit me that no one with any real authority was going to move fast enough to matter. And that list kept growing in his head. 20+ names, and not one of them ever came back. Derek was the first person Megan told. He wishes he had told no one. I could not carry this alone anymore, so I sat Derek down that evening and showed him everything. The server, the channels, the graduated list. He went pale. He put his hand over his mouth and said, "What the fuck?" over and over. Then he pulled a chair up next to me and said, "Let me help you go through this." And honestly, I felt relief for the first time in days. We spent the whole night at the kitchen table, Tyler's phone between us and my laptop open. Derek was methodical about it. He started a spreadsheet, logging every username from the graduated list, when they first appeared in the server, their last post date, anything identifiable in their messages. He even got emotional at one point, said he felt guilty that Tyler had been slipping away right under our roof and neither of us caught it. I believed every word. We mapped out a pattern. New members showed up roughly every 8 to 14 months. Each one spent 6 to 10 weeks moving through the pipeline. Soft channels first, then Inner Garden, then gone. Graduated. I counted backwards and something cold settled in my chest. Tyler's room had 2 tenants before him. The first guy lived there about 11 months and left with almost no notice. The second lasted 9 months, same thing. I said that out loud to Derek. He shrugged and said that room just has bad energy. Some places are like that. I let it go, but I could not stop turning it over in my head. Later that night, I was scrolling through Tyler's camera roll, looking for anything useful, and I found a set of screenshots buried between photos of his plants. They were from a channel I had never seen in the server. Looked like an admin channel, something locked to regular members. Tyler must have grabbed them before he left. I have not opened them yet. Part of me already knows that whatever is in those images is going to change the shape of this whole thing. Salt and static. The thing about cults is they never look like cults from the inside. A mental health Discord with supportive moderators? That is exactly what a lonely 22-year-old would trust. Finch no more. Please tell me Tyler is getting professional help. 9 days with no memory is not dehydration. That sounds chemical. His sister has him in an inpatient facility now. I drove down to see him last weekend and he recognized me but kept asking why I looked upset. He does not remember leaving the house. The doctors have not confirmed anything chemical yet, but they are running panels. I keep thinking about the fact that I heard him leave that night and just assumed he was going to the corner store. Derek helped him build the spreadsheet. Derek logged every name. A few days later, Megan posted an update. Tyler is alive, but Derek is gone, and I have no answers. I took someone's advice and had a friend who does IT forensics image Tyler's entire phone before anything could be wiped. Full clone, everything preserved. Then I finally opened those admin channel screenshots Tyler had saved to his camera roll. There was a channel called Shepherds Only. It was a role assignment list. Each entry had a username, a real first name initial, and a territory note. I read through them slowly, and then I stopped breathing. One entry had a username I did not recognize at first, but the profile picture next to it was a French bulldog sitting on a brown leather couch. That is Derek's dog. That is Derek's couch. The territory note next to his name read, House-Current. I went back through the message logs attached to that role and found weeks of reports. Derek had been sending updates to Warden about Tyler's emotional state, his sleep patterns, when he seemed most vulnerable. All of this started before Tyler even joined the still room. Derek had flagged him. He hand-picked him. I pulled up the old lease agreements from my office because I still had access through the real estate system. The 2 previous tenants who left Tyler's room with barely any notice, both of their names appeared on the graduated list. I matched the dates. Every 8 to 14 months, like clockwork. Derek sat across from me at that kitchen table. He built the spreadsheet. He logged the usernames. He said he felt guilty. He watched me grieve for Tyler while knowing exactly where Tyler was and exactly how he got there. I called the police and handed over everything. The full device image, the screenshots, the lease records, all of it. NGL freaked. 20+ people on that graduated list. 20. And nobody reported anything because they all thought those users just logged off and got better. That is the most sinister part. Redwood trash. You said Derek's room was empty by the time you got back. That means someone tipped him off, or he was monitoring you in real time. Either way, you are not safe yet. Please stay somewhere else. Salt and Static. This. If Derek was an admin-level recruiter, he absolutely had contingency plans. The server getting deleted within an hour of the police visit confirms there is a larger network, and they have signals in place. OP, please take this seriously. He had been sitting right there the whole time. Tyler was found, but not all of him came back. I sent Brooke everything, the screenshots, the lease records, and a set of GPS coordinates I pulled from metadata embedded in a photo someone had posted to the Discord server months ago. The police traced the coordinates to a rural property about 3 hours north. When they got there, the place was stripped. No furniture, no electronics, nothing personal, just bare rooms and the smell of bleach soaked into the floors. 11 days after he disappeared, Tyler was found at a gas station 200 miles south. He was severely dehydrated, disoriented, wearing clothes that were not his. He could not account for 9 of those 11 days. He knew his name. He knew Brooke. He recognized me when I got to the hospital. But something behind his eyes was different. He kept asking why I looked so worried, like he genuinely did not understand why anyone would be upset. When I got back to the house that evening, Derek's room was empty. Not packed up empty, erased empty. Bare walls, bare floor, no forwarding address. Just the faint chemical smell of cleaning products and a stripped mattress. He had not even left a hair in the bathroom drain. The authorities confirmed what the lease records already told me. Derek had never missed a cycle. Every 8 to 14 months, a new young tenant moved into that room. Every single one of them ended up on the graduated list. The Discord server was deleted within an hour of the police report going official, but it did not matter because I had already handed over the full device image. I moved out the following week. I still do not know what graduated actually means. The police will not tell me, and Tyler does not seem to know either. Or maybe he does, and whatever happened made him decide he does not want to. I think about that kitchen table every day. Derek sitting across from me, logging names into a spreadsheet, performing grief like a man who had practiced it before. Pale windmill. I work in tenant screening, and the idea of someone weaponizing shared housing to cherry-pick vulnerable people makes me want to throw up. This is so calculated. Sometimes the most dangerous person in your life is the one who already has a key to your front door. And that is the last story for today. Thanks for sticking around. If these stories kept you up, consider subscribing so you do not miss the next one.